Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of The Fabelmans. The Fabelmans is a new coming-of-age drama directed by the one and only Steven Spielberg. Set in post-World War II Arizona, this is a semi-autobiographical story loosely based on Steven Spielberg's childhood. Sammy Fabelman is a young, aspiring filmmaker. The film shows how the power of film can help him see the truth about a family secret. Steven Spielberg is one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, if not the greatest filmmaker of all time. Made some of the most greatest and iconic films ever made with a variety of genres, from drama, sci-fi, action, war, horror, and even stepping into animation with The Adventures of Tintin and musical last year with West Side Story. When I heard Spielberg was making a movie loosely based on his childhood, I was very excited to see it. And the trailer looked absolutely wonderful, and it was one of my most anticipated movies for the rest of the year. Hearing great reviews from TIFF and even winning the People's Choice Award there. I actually did see The Fabelmans on Black Friday, but I didn't have enough time to write or do a review on it, so I really wanted to get this review out before the year ends. All I can say is I am so glad I did because I absolutely love The Fabelmans and it's one of my favorite films of 2022. Let's start with the pros. First, the performances from the cast are fantastic across the board. Starting with our lead, Gabriel LaBelle as Sammy Fabelman. I'm sure he had big shoes to fill because he's playing Spielberg's Avatar. So for a role like this, you definitely want to play it carefully. But for what he did, I thought he was terrific. He gave an excellent star-making performance capable of showing range and raw emotion convincingly. After this, I would love to see what movies he does next in the future, because this movie right here proves that he is a talent to watch. And what I think is the best performance in the movie is Michelle Williams, who is phenomenal as Sammy's mother, playing a caring and encouraging mother who's a talented pianist, but also plays a significant role within the conflict of the film. And she sold her emotions excellently, and I never once felt like she was going too over the top. And I felt like her performance was amazing and hit all the right notes, really proving how fantastic and super talented of an actress she is, and she is definitely a lock for Best Actress nomination. And another fantastic performance was Paul Dano, who plays Sammy's father, who is also a computer engineer, for what he needed to do by giving a subdued, modest, and sincere performance, which works excellently in the more heartfelt and emotional scenes of the film, showing his character's intelligence and uncertainty for a film being Sammy's only focus in life. And I've always admired Paul Dano as an actor ever since Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood, and Prisoners. And watching his two completely different performances this year in this, and earlier this year as the sadistic serial killer version of the Riddler in The Batman, is a big reminder and testament to Paul Dano's amazing range as an actor. And I would love to see him sneak in for an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor. I really hope he gets his first Oscar nomination, and this could be it. As for Seth Rogen in the film, while he may not have much screen time as you'd expect, I thought he did great as Bert's best friend, being both funny, but does play an important role within the conflict of the film without getting any spoilers. And one conversation seen in the film between him and Sammy, I feel like that shows that Seth Rogen, when given the opportunity, can be capable of giving a great dramatic performance. If you don't believe me, go watch 50-50 or Steve Jobs. Seth Rogen is really good at doing dramatic performances, and I would love to see him continue it. And another surprisingly great performance in the film, although brief, is Judd Hirsch. He's only in the film for one scene with 8 minutes of screen time, but just for that one scene, he made the most of it with his humor, energy, and importance to his conversation with Sammy about choosing between art and family. I'm hearing that he could possibly get in for Best Supporting Actor nomination. Again, brief screen time, but for what he did, he was excellent. Spielberg is at the top of his game with his fantastic filmmaking, but mostly his passion for the story. From the top-notch production design, recreating the time era and Spielberg's childhood house, beautiful cinematography, and John Williams' great musical score. But what I find particularly noteworthy about The Fabelmans is the passion for movies and for all aspiring filmmakers. Watching that one movie in your childhood that gave you your love of film and trying to recreate that one particular scene from the movie. And in this movie, Sammy's parents take him to see The Greatest Show on Earth, and Sammy just can't stop thinking about the train scene from that movie and recreating that scene with a train set and shooting it with a camera, making movies with your friends and showing it to them, sharing your love of film with friends and family, or treating your love of film as more than just a hobby. And something about this movie and its love for film has really impacted me ever since I saw it. Really spoke to my love of movies and really reminded me why I love movies and why I would like to be a filmmaker someday. Not only that, following our protagonist growing up from ages 7 and 18 and trying to see him balance his family life but also his love for filmmaking was also really emotionally engaging to watch, and I felt really invested in these characters. And I also appreciated that Spielberg didn't try to treat this as a vanity project or attempt to be pretentious with this movie, but rather treating this passion project with such care and sincerity is really commendable for Spielberg. On top of the great filmmaking, performances, and emotion, really made this one of the most special films of 2022 for me. You could definitely tell how much in this movie Spielberg poured his heart and soul into making this movie and how passionate he was for this movie. And one more thing. This is also one of my favorite endings of the year. Not gonna get into spoilers, but it did feature something that did happen to Spielberg. And it not only features a famous director playing a famous director, not going to spoil who it is, and it combines so much humor, tension, just the way it's shot, but it's also thought-provoking at the same time. And the ending to this movie, up to the final shot, all I can say is brilliant. As for issues or nitpicks, I'd say my first one is in the third act with the drama. When Sammy moves to a new high school and we get into the themes of anti-Semitism, that's where I felt like the drama felt a little episodic for me. I would say the part where he moves to a new high school did get me the least invested of the film. And second, I do wish we could have known a little bit more about Sammy's sisters. I felt like they were a bit sidelined. One of Sammy's sisters I thought had a really good acting scene in this movie in the third act. And I was trying to recognize that actress. I was like, where have I seen her before? And I looked her up on IMDb and I said, oh, she was the little girl in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that Leonardo DiCaprio was talking to. Okay. And I actually do want to see her in more movies after this. I thought she was really good. In conclusion, Steven Spielberg knocked it out park, crafting a heartfelt and emotionally resonant coming-of-age film with fantastic filmmaking and excellent performances. It's definitely deserving of the Oscar buzz it's been receiving, and I wouldn't be surprised if this could possibly win Best Picture, or if Spielberg could win his third Best Director Oscar after Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. Definitely recommend this movie if you're a longtime fan of Steven Spielberg's work and if you're excited to see his story, even though it's loosely based. Or if you're a film buff or an aspiring filmmaker, I highly recommend this movie to you. You can't watch it on video on demand or if it's playing at a theater near you. Either way, I highly recommend you go see The Fabelmans as soon as possible. And now to grade it, I'm going to give The Fabelmans 4.5 stars out of 5. And I'm really happy that Steven Spielberg got the opportunity to make a movie like this and pour his heart and soul into making it, and it's one of my favorite films of the year. And now let's talk about Oscar predictions. What I think are absolute locks: Best Picture, Best Director Steven Spielberg, Best Actress Michelle Williams, and Best Original Screenplay. Even though I don't think it's going to win Screenplay due to competition with Everything Everywhere and The Banshees of Inisherin, but I do think it does seem like a lock in that category. As for what I think is a maybe as Best Supporting Actor, choosing between either Paul Dano or Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch may give the showier performance despite minimal screen time, but Paul Dano does give a great performance despite it's mostly a subdued performance. So as for who I see could getting in, maybe Paul Dano for Best Supporting Actor, maybe because he's overdue for a nomination as he's been giving so many great performances over the years, so this could be it. And as for the other technical categories I can see getting in, Best Cinematography, Best Editing, Best Score, and also Best Sets or maybe Costume Designs. So I'm definitely expecting a lot of love for this movie on Oscar nominations morning. So I'd like to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on The Fabelmans if you have seen it? Do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to watching the film or not? Let me know below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here. And don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.